Okay, we live. Hey, you know that button comes on. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome to the Chicken Box. It is another beautiful Thursday. No matter where you are, if it's raining or snowing, hope it's not snowing, but it is still beautiful. Beautiful is how you think about it. That if you're grateful and thankful for waking up this morning, it can be beautiful how you think about yourself. I'm your host, co-host, Kevin Impeccable Peck, along with Dr. Draper, CEO of the Afro, as well as Courtney. I need to get your proper title. You do so much. What is your proper title, Courtney?
I'm the digital marketing editor.
Digital marketing editor. All right, here we go. The DMA. All right, welcome to the Chicken Box. If you've never tuned in before, this is where we get on the box and we speak our truth. But if you're from Baltimore, you know a chicken box. Man, is it lunchtime already? It's four wings, fries. I need to, I promote the chicken box like I got a chicken box franchise. Put in the chat if you think we should get a chicken box franchise and call it the chicken box. Brought to you by the Afro. Anyway, I'm so hungry right now. Dr. Draper, how are you today?
I'm hungry. I'm hungry, Impeccable. But
I know, I don't know if I'm the only one. Does anybody get up, do your morning meditation, prayer, get into work, and before you know it, it's almost noon and you
time.
haven't even done anything but drink a glass of water? Is that
Yep,
good, bad, or ugly? We're
that's
talking
it.
about Black people versus food insecurity today. Some people are so secure in their food that they don't even have to worry about, they're not insecure about eating at all. While it's others who have so much insecurity around just the basics of eating and having food for them and their family and for being healthy, so that they can survive and thrive, that it becomes an insecurity. We're going to talk about it today. We have a special guest coming on. I don't know if he's backstage, but let me just say, Dr. Draper, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling well. I'm feeling well. Every day is a good day. I give God praise every day that I wake up because some folk didn't do that this morning. So
Absolutely.
um,
Courtney?
I'm the same as Dr. Draper. Every day above ground is a blessed day, so I'm feeling great and I'm blessed to be here. How are
All
you?
right. Well, let's get into it, y'all. Black people versus
wait a minute, hold it. Courtney said, "How are you, Impeccable?"
let me give the church as I'm blessed and highly favored. Is that always true when somebody says that? Maybe not, and maybe so, but I am, and that's what I'm going with. Even when you can't let your situation determine your the way that some people wear everything on their sleeve, how they feel, it. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, my back hurts. You know what I mean? It's okay if it hurts, but you don't have to drag it around to everybody. I'm just saying. Anyway, you know how I roll. I'm always having a great attitude because that's how I get through my day. So let's bring on Wayman Scott, our special guest. This is Black People versus Food Insecurity. I don't even know if you've ever thought about food insecurity or if you've been in a situation when you were insecure about food. Wayman, welcome back to the Chicken Box.
I am so glad to be back. What's going on, Mr. Impeccable, Dr. Draper? I am so glad to be here talking about food insecurity and what we're doing to make people more food secure. And Courtney, always good to see you.
Wait a minute, is that guitar gonna come off the wall today, or what's up? Or is it just wall art, or do you really play?
I used to play with a Righteous Soul for many years. Unfortunately, it has turned into wall art recently, but it's some real cool wall art. You have to
Oh
admit.
yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. So wait, why don't you just share with the audience who doesn't know you, just tell them a little bit about what you do, um, and then let's get into Black people versus food insecurity, and really let's bring some light on it.
Absolutely. So I work for GBMC and Gilchrist, and we provide primary care. We're trying to reduce any and every barrier stopping people from being healthy, stopping people from having the access to food, the health that they need. And the food insecurity is a big part of that. So I look forward to our partner, Be More Community Food, coming on board. Myself, I'm a licensed counselor, and I'm the associate director for diversity and community relations here at Gilchrist and GBMC Health Partners. So I wear a few different hats sometimes.
So I'm wondering, wait a minute, for our audience, because people tune into Chicken Box from all over the world.
Yeah.
All over the world. Can you break down a little bit what GBMC and Gilchrist are for those who are outside of our area?
Absolutely. Very, very good point. So Gilchrist, when people think of Gilchrist, they know that we provide excellent end of life and palliative care services and geriatric services. So we are the hospice provider in Maryland. People think of that when they think about Gilchrist, but we're also primary care, in-home primary care for seniors, in-home geriatric care for seniors that are not as mobile, and we also support several hospitals with the geriatric and palliative program. GBMC is an acronym, Greater Baltimore Medical Center. And it's a hospital system that has about 300 physicians, and they operate in primary care practices throughout Baltimore County. But our roots are in Baltimore. That's where we started as a hospital. And then there was a move about 30 years ago. But for the last couple of years, we've been back, and we have a primary care center right in the heart of Baltimore City on East Baltimore Street. And we're trying to reduce barriers. If that means we got to give you a ride to get to the doctors, we're going to give you a ride. If your barrier is you can't get your A1C down or your high blood pressure under control because of there's not food in your neighborhood that's healthy, we got to get you healthy food. If the barriers, you got to work and you can't come in at 2:00 in the afternoon, we'll set up an evening appointment for you. So we're doing whatever we can to address barriers and ultimately increase lifespans.
Man, oh man, welcome to the show, y'all. If you guys just tuned in, this is the Chicken Box, powered by the oldest Black business in Maryland and the third oldest Black business in the country, the Afro-American News or newspaper. But we're really a media company and have been for over 131 years. I wanted just to break down the USDA, Wayman says, that defines food insecurity as a lack of consistent access to enough food for every person in the household to live an active and healthy life. This can be a temporary situation, they say, or for a family, or it can last for a long time. Food insecurity is one way to measure how people can't afford food. They said more than 34 million people, including 9 million children, y'all, experience food insecurity just right here in the United States.
Yeah.
Let's speak to that for a second.
You would think that in the richest nation in the world, in one of the richest states in the world, right, that food insecurity would not even be a thing, right? But when we look at the injustice, we look at systemic racism, we look at how it's played out in several ways. And when you think about trying to be healthy, not having enough food or being food insecure, and people, let me back up for a second. When people think food insecurity, sometimes what comes to mind is, oh, I don't have the funds for food, or somebody that doesn't have the funds for food. That's not all that food insecurity is. There are food deserts. There are places in and around Baltimore City and in other places in urban and rural America where there is not healthy food available. By healthy, I mean produce. I mean fresh food that is not processed. So in my neighborhood, for example, I live on the east side of Baltimore. I can walk to a Popeyes. I can walk to a Burger King. I can't walk to a Wegmans. I can't walk to a Harris Teeter. I can't walk to an Aldi. So that's just I can walk to all sorts of sandwich spots, running up and down Broadway Street. So that's a type of food insecurity. So if what's close to you, if what's available to you isn't something that is healthy, how can you live a long life? How can you have the longevity and health? And not only longevity, but even the way people function and operate. There are children in schools. At my school, my daughter's school, she has automatic school breakfast, right? Automatic school lunch. And she has thrived with that. But when there are some families in some situations where that's the main meal they have. And then when the child goes home on the weekend and they don't get that food, or they skip that food cycle, it takes days. It takes a good couple of days for the child to even recover, get to the point where they can learn again, where they can function again. How can you function and learn when you don't have the nourishment that you need?
Absolutely. I mean, I know some of y'all listening now, y'all get hangry if y'all ain't had a meal in a couple hours, and you meet them hangry people. I think I turn into one of them occasionally. But welcome to the Chicken Box. We're talking about food insecurity. We're laughing at hangriness, but while you're a little hangry, it is children, 9 million in the U.S., who uh, have a food insecurity, and Lord, the summer is coming,
Yeah.
and so they won't even be experiencing that meal that they get in schools, which helps them make it through the week. So we want to bring light on this problem here at the Chicken Box, and we want to speak our truth. We're waiting for JC to join us. JC is just tell us a little bit about JC so we can. He's having technical difficulties, so I gave him our producer's number. Hopefully, he can click on and join in on the conversation.
Excellent. Well, JC is one of the champions that's addressing that. And
JC, you
here he
must have
is. We
heard your
talked him
name,
up.
JC.
We talked him up.
They would talk about you.
What's up, folks? How y'all doing? You good?
Well, welcome to the Chicken Box. We're right into the conversation about food insecurity. But before we go any further, let's just give JC. I know you were rushing to get on. Let me give you a minute to breathe. But if you just tell everybody who you are and what your mission is, and we can keep on moving with the conversation. Welcome to the Chicken Box.
Pretty much JC Falk, and my mission is with this food operation is Feed Baltimore. It's 2 words, Feed Baltimore, and that's what we do. I was out doing some of that before I came in this morning. So before I came into this conversation this morning, out giving people food. That's what we do.
What's the name of your company or your organization? Feed Baltimore?
The name of the organization is An End to Ignorance, and the project that we're working on is Be More Community Food.
Be More Community Food. We just defined the definition of what the USDA said about the food insecurities. And I was going to go into, I said, unfortunately, many people in America struggle to meet just their basic needs, which increases, to food insecurity. For example, layoffs, a car maintenance problem. I mean, if you're paycheck to paycheck, or you're not even living paycheck to paycheck, you can be very soon having to determine if you're going to pay a bill or eat. Poverty, unemployment, lack of affordable housing, and even some systemic racism and racial discrimination, all causes that I've heard. Let me know, guys. You guys, is that hitting the nail on the head?
Yeah, especially for me, especially the last one, the racism and oppression. A lot of our people don't get food just because of the color of their skin and their economic status. And it's ridiculous for us to live in a country that calls itself a free loving nation to have so many people hungry when we're throwing 30 to 40% of all the food that we process away every year instead of figuring out how to get it to people. And so that's why I'm here, is to figure out how to get that food that's being thrown away to people. And most of us think of that food as wasted, rotten food. It's not. Like I just got Dole, one of our biggest distributors, just gave us 22 tractor trailer loads of stuff to me to say I can disperse anywhere around the country that I wanted to. And like 22, it's like 850,000 pounds worth of food. And that was just from one of them. Dannon does the same thing with me every week. 100 to 150,000 pounds of food on their list every week that they give to me. And then I can send it to other parts of the country and keep parts of it here. So this thing that people say about food shortage, don't believe one bit of it. There's no food shortage. The only shortage there is out there for me is that it's a shortage of empathy, shortage of concern about Black and brown communities all over the country. And because it's that way, that's why people are not getting food. They're not lacking food because there is not enough food. There's plenty of food. If we stop throwing away half of what we throw away right now, big distributors and others, we would feed everybody in America, and we could feed other people in other places. People just haven't wrapped their mind around how to make that happen yet. And when we do that, then the food problems will go away. There is no lack of food. There's plenty of food. It's just they don't care about getting it to us.
So how do we change that? We know the problem for us, but we at the Afro, I mean, this show is not going to solve the problem, but it is going to get the information out to some more people so that we can begin to think about other people and stop just going through your day just because you have, if your brother or sister doesn't have, then really we don't have as a community. So we have to get the information, and we thank you, JC and Wayman, for coming on, and we want to know how to get the information and then how we can help.
So you raise a very good point. I think when organizations come together, we can address these issues, right? And JC, when we met JC was doing amazing work biggest food rescue in Baltimore City. But with our partnership, we're able to maybe get to people, locations that need food. So, for example, you asked how. We want to talk about something we're doing right now. Literally, as soon as I'm off of the show, I'm going to drive 5 minutes down the street to Our Daily Bread, and we're going to be feeding people. And we called JC up. JC has delivered boxes and boxes and boxes of food. So we're doing the health pop-up community summer health bash, right? So that's coming right up on Falls Way at 1 o'clock. But that's a perfect example of some of the collaborations that we do. So we come together and we partner healthcare, food is medicine, and we move from there.
Today, y'all. That's like in about 45 minutes.
Yes, it is.
That's
That's
the word.
I was actually there. That's where I was before I came on, dropping those boxes off. So I know the food is there. When he gets off, he's going to run over there. And my project manager is working on this. She's over there right now getting everything set up. So we're all kind of dancing with each other.
JC,
right
what you have? A trucking company? How you
no,
moving all
I
this food
have
around?
a couple trucks though, man. I got a 26-foot truck here in shop, and then a 52-footer that I use as a freezer, and then we're in an 11,000 square foot building. And then I got a trucking company that goes all over the country, either drop stuff off and pick stuff up for us. So we, as much as we, on one level, I feel like we're a little shop, on one level, but on another level, we're doing big stuff. We're looking at sending stuff to Puerto Rico and Haiti, like it's pretty amazing to have grown so fast in 3 years. We've started when the governor shut the restaurants down. That's when we started. And now we have this relationship with GBMC. It expands our ability to move stuff throughout the city. And as you know, food is it's a symptom, right, of what's happening with us. There's a whole lot more stuff around healthcare, around housing and education. There's so many things that need to be handled. And with Wayman, the thing that Wayman and I and GBMC and Be More Community Food, we're doing is we're touching base on a couple of those things at the same time. Rather than just food, we're touching base on access to proper health care, that kind of stuff. So it's really with our people. You asked what we could do a minute ago. Here's the thing. We better start acting like we're at war. We better start, as long as racism exists and this culture is doing the kinds of things that it's doing to Black people, we better start acting like we're at war. Any other person in the circumstance that we're in, being attacked in the way that we are, most people around the world would consider themselves at war. And we just kind of walk through it like bombs aren't dropping around us every day. And we need to start acting like that. Like our people, us. I'm reading this book by Paulo Freire called The Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Mm-hmm. And in the book, the guy makes this point that sometimes oppressed people are afraid of freedom. They're scared because and now if you step all the way into your freedom, now you got to take full responsibility for your life. You can't blame racism. You can't blame anything. I think what we need to do as a people, what we've always been really good at, is taking, like Tupac, make $1 out of 15 cents. We've been very, very good at that. And we've become weaker at making it happen. We're going to have to save ourselves. White people ain't coming for us. If they were coming, we would already be taken care of. Nobody else is coming for us. The way that we're going to get out of this is if we take our energies and we get out of this. We have everything in us, in our genes, to move through this. We just have to start acting like we are responsible for our own lives and not someone else.
If you just tuned in, this is Black People versus Food Insecurity. JC about to make me come through the screen, boy. You getting me pumped up. Hey, people, we are at war. You are at war.
I have a question I want to ask too.
Go ahead, Dr.
I want to ask both of our guests. So I agree, we don't have a food problem. We have it is a racism problem. The Afro did a series called Secure the Bag. But here's my question. How do we connect the dots? So there are places like that you're accessing for food. Our church works with First Fruit Farms. I know that, my goodness, his name is escaping me, but Heber Brown has his Black Farmers Collaborative. Yep, that they're working. Is there anyone who has developed an app or is there some way that is centralized that people can connect? Because there are a lot of people trying to do this in small pockets, right? I mean, you've got a major operation, but how do people connect the dots so that it's accessible like all over? Or is that an idea I just threw out there that we need to do?
I think it's an idea we need to do. So
Okay. I was talking we here on this because that's what most people, and even when you go to the deepest parts of Uganda where there's no electricity. I've been there 3 times. They have one of these.
Yeah.
They don't have television. They don't have lights. They have a cell phone coming off of one main tower. And I know that this is a problem too in terms of connectivity. But I'm just thinking, if there's a way to connect the dots so that food doesn't go to waste, so it gets to where it needs to be, but people know how to do that. So, so there's something centralized already that's in the works.
So I appreciate you asking that question, and I don't think this is exactly the answer, but it's a part of what we're doing. So in Baltimore City, programs, there's a lot of great stuff happening, and they tend to be in silos, right? JC can attest to this. Anyone in Baltimore, so we have these silos. So at GBMC, we're trying to bring together various levels of support, and automatically, as soon as somebody becomes a patient at our Baltimore office or our in-home primary care office, in-home primary care services, they're automatically screened, right? And if they have food insecurity, they're going to get referred to Be More Community Food, who will provide, food on a regular basis or deliver it, so they can have that. So that's one way. That's one hub. So it's automated. Somebody doesn't have to automatically ask, "Hey, excuse me, doctor, I'm food insecure." No, we automatically ask it, and it's part of our screening process. And sometimes folks need to get asked a couple times before they admit that they're hungry. But at a lot of the food distributions that I've been to, the food goes quick. It goes quick. There is such a need. You'd be surprised at how quick it goes. And when JC delivers,
I'm not surprised. Like I said, we work with Fresh Food Farm, and every week we're doing fresh produce or frozen ground, all kinds of things. You're right. Food is not the problem, but the distribution and the coordination of the distribution is not a problem, but it's a challenge.
It is a challenge, but it's a challenge that we need to confront and do something about. We as Black people, we've always had challenges. We come from slavery. I mean, we had challenges of just owning our own bodies. We still have those challenges. We've come through everything. We can figure out how to get food to people who need it if we get our minds wrapped around it and get committed to it. We can make sure that people get food. Literally, I wasn't doing anything really. I'm a documentary producer, folks, and a diversity consultant. That's what I do. It had nothing to do with food. And we just went past 3 years, and we've distributed 5 million pounds of food. And this year, we're going to do somewhere between 3 and 4 million pounds of food. So over the course of 4 years, 4 to 5 million pounds of food. And I had nothing to do with food. I was able to find that as an individual. It makes you wonder, what are the people who have jobs to do this? What are they doing? Sitting on their hands all day? If I can find it myself, that much food, this industry is a major industry, and they just avoid us. They just make. So give you an example with the stuff with Dole. Dole gave me these 22 tractor loads, and then I got to decide where they go. So I sent some to Mississippi, where the storms happen in Mississippi. I've been sending it to Black people who live in Iowa and New Jersey and Norfolk. And I get to decide that. What I know is if someone else was deciding where that food goes, it wouldn't be going to us. It would be going somewhere else. And that I'm there, I can decide this is going there. This is going there. I don't care about the distance. I wanted to get to this place. I don't care if it's inconvenient. It's going to go there. And so we have to step in. We got to jump into the middle of the road and stop the traffic sometimes and go, no, it goes that way because you're ignoring my people. You got to take care of my people. If you're going to take care of anyone else, you got to take care of my people. We do so much to help other groups, and we need to make sure that we survive. That's what we need to be doing right now.
Well, JC, we're doing it, and God chose you. You the guy, and we're here to help you. So I think beyond this show, we will figure out, us, meaning the Afro, being an information source for so many years, and you and Wayman, we should be able to figure out a tech system, since we all have phones, but you can't be afraid of freedom, right? You can't be afraid to raise your hand somehow, and we want to make it easier for you to raise your hand because it's nothing but logistics and creating a good system right now. Before we go on, Craig asked, "Do you partner with churches?"
Oh yeah, we got a lot of if you yes, so yes, it's simple
Okay.
answer to that. We give food to churches and then they move it. So we do curbsides. We have partners who come and get food from us. We have partners that we take food to. We do a combination of things to make sure that the most vulnerable people in the city are getting fed like they should be.
And Laura Bell, good afternoon to you. And the people of Poppleton, put that up. They said the supermarkets are few on the west side. They don't provide healthy choices like low in fat and sodium community. And and of course, Black people, we are suffering from some of these high blood pressures and diabetes, and a lot of it is a nutrition problem. And it is what we're eating.
Yes.
You don't usually find a Popeyes in these rich neighborhoods. I'm just going to let you know.
Yeah, that's right. KFC, Popeyes, McDonald's, everywhere, right?
Yeah.
You're not from
walking past with their little black bags from the little Korean stores in our neighborhoods that are selling them overpriced stuff, And so the Sandtown, you bring up an interesting point though. We're in the throes of ending that food desert in Sandtown. I'm in Remington right now because the building, I'm in an 11,000 square foot building I got for next to nothing when COVID was going on. It was really good for us to have it, but I'm moving to Sandtown. I'm moving into I'm taking millions of pounds of food to Sandtown. We already picked out a piece of property. We're going to be moving up there because I know that whole area, anybody who's in elected office right now should be booted out of office that they haven't had a grocery store up there for 2.5 decades or something. Like what neighborhood in America doesn't have a grocery store for that long other than our neighborhoods? And that we're living in a city that's allowed that for so long. And not just the city allowing it, but that we've allowed it for so long that there's no grocery store up there is a blight on the city. It's a blight on our determination to be free. It's a blight on everything that we haven't done something to make sure that there's a grocery store there for our most vulnerable citizens. So we're going to move our operation up there. We're going to move the entire thing up there. And I'm hoping it'll be the first time, well, not necessarily that. It'll be the first time that people from outside of our community come into our community to get food, because my food, we don't charge people for it. And it's free and it's good. It's good food. We give them meat and pasta and all kinds of stuff. It could be now people coming into our neighborhoods instead of us going out to somebody else's neighborhood to get food. So we have to address these problems. We have to put both cheeks into it and address the issues rather than just talking about them. We need to do something about it. We need to get feet on the ground, moving things in our community so that people get what they want. The problem is sometimes we're afraid of our own people. I've been talking to people about moving my operation up there, and they're like, oh Sandtown? Yes, Sandtown. That's where the food is needed. And so I think for us, we have to just get 100% in and move 100% into what it is that we're committed to with our people, and not just as we're verbalizing something, speaking about it, talking loud, and not doing much. We gotta get on the ground and do stuff.
Absolutely. If you just tuned in, this is Black people versus allergies. No, this is Black people versus food insecurity, y'all. I don't know where these allergies are jumping out of. But anyway, Courtney, you're from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, every major city has these same problems. What questions do you have for JC? She represents our Gen Z, JC.
What's up?
Hi, JC. So you touched on the fact that nobody is coming to save us. So with my question, I want to know, what are some ways that the Black community can come together to address and in the food insecurities, in our communities?
Yes. And so I think part of it is to contribute to organizations who are trying to help our communities, right? So there's Be More Community Food, and there's a whole bunch of other organizations doing stuff around housing, around food insecurity, around healthcare, that kind of stuff. We got to get involved, get up and go and get involved in something, save that movie you want to watch and go and volunteer for a few hours a week to make sure that you're doing something to move our people forward, help. And some of us don't think we can make a difference in the world. We've moved 5 million pounds of food, and I've never had more than 4 employees. Okay, 4. And so the rest of it happens because of we got this huge volunteer database that we tap into, and we always have people here to supporting. We always need that. You don't have to go out and create something and build something of your own. There are things out there that you can go be a part of. If you want to see our people rise, and even if you want to see yourself rise, go and do something to contribute something to your community. Get up and go do something. Anything that if you see a pocket that's missing something that's important to you, go and step into that thing and do something to make a difference there. And that's how we're going to change all of this.
JC, what does a pound of food look like? Because you keep talking about these pounds.
Pound of food. So the Maryland Food Bank suggests that a meal is 1 to 1.5 pounds of food. So if I look at 5 million pounds and I make it a one meal, 1 pound meal is 5 million meals in that. Okay. So basically it's 1 to 1.5 pounds. And that includes a drink, includes everything on the plate.
Is that a starch or meat? And
yeah, starch, meat, drink, that kind of stuff that goes along with it. Just a nice healthy meal for yourself. Yep. And it should be it's like 1 to 1.5 pounds. In my case, it's 1.5.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Wayman, you guys work together. Let's just think out the box. I mean, we're trying to really get people to think here on the Chicken Box. And everybody's passion isn't the same, but everybody's heart in the community should be the same. And I think if we can come up, which we can, it's not going to be on this show, but if we can figure out a system that people at least know, and then it used to be Stop Shop and Saves in Baltimore. We used to have our own grocery stores, and for some reason, I don't know what the reason is why they decided to sell, or they're not in business anymore, because they saw these problems have been around in our communities forever. And so that was one of the solutions, is we had our own grocery stores, and on and JC with your food distribution, we got to think outside the box, people.
Go ahead.
So go ahead. No. I'm going on I'm brainstorming right along with you. I know we're a conversation about food insecurity, but JC, you the catalyst. Wayman is right here to help. It's a lot of people at churches who volunteer. It's a lot of churches who do a lot, with what's helping with the food deserts and the food insecurity. But we need something that we know. A lot of times people don't help because they just don't know. Yes. And they don't take the time to get outside of their own world. They're so busy, whatever they're doing with their kids, their family, their work, their church, their activities, that a lot of times, until you come across, and my wife would take our kids to different neighborhoods and to volunteer so they can see, okay, here, you don't really understand your blessing. This person just wants to eat. You guys are throwing this food away. You know what I mean? Yes. That you got from Uber Eats.
Yes. And then there's a thing too where, so for us, just this organization, so you can help yourself by volunteering with us as well. So you help the community and you help yourself. Every volunteer who comes here, every shift they work, 3.5 to 4 hours, they get to take 20 pounds of stuff home with them every time they come in. We have people coming in 3 or 4 times a week. They can take 20 pounds of food. So let's say you are food insecure and you want to make a difference, but you're like, I can't make a difference because I got to go make money to get food. You can come here twice a week and you'll get 40 pounds of food for your family to feed
for free.
For free, no cost.
For free?
Totally free. You get it for free. And we give them meat, pasta, drinks, dairy, produce, whatever you want within a 20-pound range. You walk out of here every shift with that 20 pounds. So you can make a difference out in the community and you can make a difference inside of your home at the same time.
Wow, the free is so important, and it's not completely free. There's something very important about that, and it's volunteering, right? Giving your time. Sometimes time is more valuable than someone's donation or money. The fact that people are invested, and when our community, when Black and brown people do come together it's powerful because we're putting our energy, we're putting our minds, we're putting our work into it. And JC, I love how you've tied together 20 pounds of food for just a couple hours of volunteering. That makes a difference. That feeds a whole family for a week. And then I wanted to point out just the versatility in the food. When we send our patients to JC to pick up produce, or to when we send Be More Community Food to their home to deliver produce, we know that they are getting a meat and a starch, and they're getting produce. We know that it's going to be 18, 20 pounds more of food. And that's a big part of it too. We were thinking as we were putting together our program, like, how do we do this? How do we get people the food they need? And we came up with, we realized, like, we just have to do it for free. If we're really going to make a difference, if we're going to really tell a patient, hey, can you eat better? How are we going to go then ask them to pay for food, let alone if there's a supermarket in the neighborhood? I know there's not one in mine. Okay. So for free, it's huge. It's important. Every patient that we have has that option if there is a need for food.
Man, I feel like having a food-a-thon right now. Like just let's have a 24-hour, food-a-thon where people come in. No, really, it's about the awareness, and the information, because a lot of people don't even know that 2 times a week they can come and get 20 pounds today.
Yeah.
If you're in Baltimore, screenshot this, give it to somebody who may be in the food desert or having food insecurities today. You're also going to get blood pressure screening. Come on, y'all. We got to get checked out. You check your car out. You check everything else out. Yeah. You need to go get checked out. Finger stick health needs assessment. What? A haircut.
We got a team of barbers and a team of doctors
and manicures.
And like, man, they're there right now.
If they are right at pedicure or manicure, fellas. You think it ain't for you. It's not manly. But yeah, look, when you get an ingrown toenail, you wish you had got one. Come out today, Thursday. Today is Thursday, June 15th at 1:00. It's starting in a few minutes. But man, it's a lot going through my mind just because of all we can do. JC, is there so much food left up? Are we not giving away all this food?
No, like my warehouse, like the warehouse that we're in right now is 11,000 square feet. And we just got a bunch of shipments in from Dole. The place is packed right now, man. It'll be empty, within the next month and a half or so, but we got a lot of stuff in here.
How long does the food last? I mean, like, how many? You're able to feed how many families in this area?
The number. So right now we're somewhere around 250 to 300,000 pounds of food. Matter of fact, this month will be the first. Up to now, the most we've ever distributed was like 365,000 pounds of food in any given month. This month, we're going to go past 1 million for the first time. 1 million. It's 1 million meals of stuff that we're processing here and processing in other places. It's mind-boggling, even for me. Seriously, and I'm the guy that's doing it. I kind of wake up and go, that's not you for real, man. Stop playing. And because it's just amazing that we're able to get out so much stuff. So it's for me, we get it in and I try to kick it out as fast as I can. The next location I go to, I don't want a 100,000 square foot building where I'm storing all this stuff. I want to build the infrastructure so we can move it out of the building fast. All of the stuff that I got sitting in my warehouse right now, somebody could be eating who's hungry out there, and we just don't have the infrastructure yet to move 1 million pounds of food like that. That's what I want. Yeah, I want to be. So what we're building here is to build us to 10 million new pounds of food coming into Baltimore by the end of 2025. That in the city right now, it's suggested that there's about a quarter of the city having food insecurity issues, which means about 160,000 people. You give 160,000 people 10 million new pounds, not some stuff that's already in the city, but 10 million new pounds of food. It changes the hunger landscape in Baltimore. That's what I'm up to doing. I'm up to changing the hunger landscape because it's really unnecessary that people in our city are hungry right now, other than neglect and abusing them and not caring about them. That's the only reason why people are not getting fed right now. And if we can get that food and then have people of color who are committed to making sure that people get fed, directing where that food goes, it'll get to the right places and our people won't be as hungry. By the end of 2025, That's going to happen, or I won't be here anymore. It's going to happen. Sorry, I'm not kidding. Like I grew up hungry. You know, I had a single parent, my mother. I used to blame my mother for that we didn't have food. And now I know it's not my mother. It's not my mother that didn't. She did everything that she could do, including going to the store with her purse and stuffing ham sandwiches down in that purse so she can feed her 6 kids. You know, so my mother did everything that she could do. It's the culture that ignores us. It's the culture that makes it so that we're not eating in the way that we should be eating. And we have to be addressing this thing at a cultural level. And when we get stuff, we need to make sure our people get it. We need to make sure our people get it. Almost every other group does that. We don't do that at the level that other groups do it. You don't see.
You the guy, JC. You are the guy.
Yeah, you don't see it. It's got to be more than me. That's what I'm trying to say. It's got to be.
You're the guy to build the system.
Oh yeah, I'm building.
Okay, so you are, you know, we need a need a CEO. So you're the guy. You gotta, you know, you can't ride around to every house in the city.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, to every church. You have to build the system and then let people plug into the system, just like Amazon.
Yes,
you know, you can become the Amazon for the black food insecurities.
Indeed.
Okay, that's what you got to be, because if not, you work yourself to death, JC.
We got to get you a stage, man. All right, okay, get you up there with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, okay. I'm telling you the truth, man. Listen, if they can pay me for 45 minutes of work, listen, I take that job.
I hear you, man, for real.
And I'll donate to the food bank, whatever else we need. We need our black businesses need to take some responsibility.
I agree, and I agree with you fully, man. Like and you're right. I'm creating the infrastructure. I just need people to support that infrastructure so we can get everything out that we need. I'm willing to put my life out there and just do that, you know, because our people need it.
You'll be surprised, JC. Listen, where can people go right now who want to help JC?
So they can. My website. I've been seeing it flash up on there. You can go to that website and there's a volunteer form that you can fill out there, and then we can set you up for volunteer orientations here. There's also an email in there that you can send it to, and we have volunteer orientations Wednesdays nights at 5:30. They go about an hour, and then Saturday at 12.
Just like Dole gave you 200 pounds of food.
200, not 200 pounds. Yeah, they gave us almost 1 million pounds.
2 trillion. They're gonna give you 2 trillion by the time it's over. Yeah. Okay, so look, JC needs some help of some people who have some heart to serve the community, especially the black and brown people. JC does not turn away people if you are another color, but his focus is making sure that the black and brown people of the city who have been overlooked by other people. If we don't, we got basically is what you're saying. And if we don't take care of each other, primarily nobody else. And we appreciate the Doles and the other organizations of the world who see the need and are able to just give you the food because you found a way. So you'll find a way to get more food, and then you'll find a way to take this Baltimore. It's just like a franchise. Once you get this system right, you can move this to every city.
Oh yeah, that's what.
And then JC, you know, then you can anyway. Dr. Draper, go ahead.
That's the question. Is there any other city in the United States that's doing it differently? First of all, let me say before I ask you that question, kudos to you, JC Falk, for your heart for the work, and you're not telling people what you think, you're telling people what you experience, and that always makes a difference.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you have that passion around that and the compassion, and so that's such a key ingredient. So kudos to you for that. Women's Sky, kudos to GBMC, but I'm going to step out on a limb, and I'm going to say it's because you're there that this connection is made. Okay, I'm going to step out on a limb, and I'm going to say because you're in that position, because sometimes this is not on anybody's radar screen. So my question, though, is in all of these cities, as Impeccable said, everybody is experiencing some of the same things, right? Yeah. Is anybody doing it in a way that gives broader distribution? That's what you're looking for, right? You've got food is not a problem. You've got food. You've got a 4-person staff. You probably need a 40-person staff, okay, to get that done. Something just flashed up on my phone for philanthropy. It was like, okay, go to this one place and you can find out where all the philanthropic organizations are. You're probably listed there. But in terms of the food insecurity, what other cities are I'm just wondering how we make those connections too. Is somebody else doing it this way that we might adopt here in Baltimore? Or is everybody trying to figure it out?
Yeah, there's I've been looking around. I've been looking around a little bit because we've sent stuff to Norfolk, to Detroit, to Mississippi, to other California. We're sending stuff around. What I haven't seen yet is anything that's quite like ours. There's a lot of people getting a lot of food out, but not quite like ours, And so what I'm hoping to do is to create a model here that we can put in other places around the country. One of the biggest things that separates us from most food rescue organizations is when I go to companies, I don't go to the guy on the dock. I go to VPs, and VPs and senior people can release millions of pounds of food just by hitting a button. And so what I do is I grab that food and then I send it to other people who need it outside of Baltimore, because we don't have the infrastructure to take in 1 million pounds of food all at once. So I think a part of what's different about what we do is we shoot real high. We shoot way, way high, and then we get mass. When the yes comes, massive amounts of food come, and then we get to choose where that food is going to go. So I don't go to like an individual Whole Foods or an individual Safeway. They'll give me 30 chickens. I want to go to where they'll give me a tractor trailer load full of chicken, and then I can figure out where that food goes after they give it to me. But I don't want like 30 chickens to me now. Seems like, it's like a drop in the bucket compared to how much people are hungry. I go for the big boys, and the big boys are really coming through in a big way to give us stuff. Dannon, Dole, Amazon, Walmart, like the big guys out there are sending us hundreds of thousands, really millions of pounds of food, and it doesn't cost us anything. And because it doesn't cost us anything, we can get the food out for next to nothing. Like I was telling you about that 1 pound. Last year, the infrastructure cost for getting that food out for free to people was 17 cents a pound. We're giving them steaks and shrimp and chicken and pasta. You can't get a gumball in the store for 17 cents a pound, and we're giving them.
Some people don't even know what a gumball is, Jason.
Not Generation Z. I don't think Generation Z would know what a gumball is.
She said, you want to step up for yourself. You know what a gumball is. It used to be a penny. If you just tune in, this is Black People versus Food Insecurity. We have JC Falk and Wayman Scott tuning in, and we are getting you ready to help. Okay, a lot of times, Black people, we are waiting for somebody to come along and save us. They're not coming unless they're Jesus. But you have to, they used to say you can't do good for somebody until you're doing well for yourself. So once you go in the positions you guys are in now you can do good for somebody. But it's hard, like if we both don't have, besides volunteering, which is great because you need to sow your time, talent, and your treasure. And time is needed to get to reach some of these families. But we have to be smarter people, and we have to use our brain power and how we can really help. It's got to be a way that you can help the organization with your money. Got to be a way that you can help the organization with your time. And it's got to be, we have to be able to not be afraid to say when we need help. We wait until, I was listening to something this morning. The check engine light is on for a year and a half, and then you're mad because your car broke down. The check engine light is on right now in food insecurity. And if you're there, if you're listening and you're in this Baltimore area, and obviously if you're in other areas, because JC gets too much food, he sends it there. JC, so nobody else is doing. So how are the other communities handling this? Have you seen a model yet that just seems to win, or all the models send a bunch of food, have a food bank?
Yeah. So I think anybody that's giving food out for whatever purpose is winning. Okay, so I don't want to say that my thing is the only thing that's winning. I think if a guy packs up his car with food every week with 50 pounds of food, and he runs out and gives 10 pounds food away to 5 different families, I think he's winning, right? But I think we need to win at another level, and that's why I'm doing what I do. Is I want to win at another level to get more and more food to get out to people to make sure that there's people all over the country doing really amazing work around food. Even in Baltimore, there's multiple food rescue organizations in Baltimore doing extremely good work. It's just the work that we're doing right now hasn't ended the problem. That's why I want to go bigger. It doesn't, whatever has been going up all the way up to right now hasn't ended our problem with food insecurity. And so what we need to do is press out and do more of what we're doing, have more people involved. But I don't
go backwards, JC. What is your thought on how we end the problem?
We act like we intend to end it. It might be a simple answer, but we act like we intend to end it. We got to stop. We got to stop basing our actions on our desires and our wants. We have to be committed to this, like both cheeks in it, both feet in it. Everything in me is in this thing. If we were there, we would be winning this. Again, I'm going back to slavery. When we decided enough, Lincoln didn't free us. Sorry, folks. I'm working on a movie right now. Lincoln didn't free us. We freed ourselves through our own actions. And that Lincoln keeps getting all of this freedom thing from us, like he did it on his own. What about Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and all of those people who are back there putting their lives at risk for making this thing happen? We need to step up and like do the work that's necessary to like take care of our people. We can do this. We've done greater than this at other points in our history. We've done much greater than this at other points in our history. And that we have this many people of color, let's say Black people, I'm going to space Black people specifically, in positions of power that they weren't in when I was born, and we're moving backwards. It says something about our leaders and how much they're selling out and how much they're not taking care of our people. It says something about them that we have many more people in positions of power, and we're losing everything right now. We're losing it because people they're committed to something other than tackling these problems. They're committed to lining their own pockets. They're committed to moving their business. They're committed to, having generational wealth, like other people, and not committed to moving our people forward in a way that people were just 50 years ago. We have to get ourselves involved like we intend to survive this onslaught that we're in right now.
JC, I hear you 100%. The hours is wrapping up, and we're at the Afro committed to meeting with you to come up with some type of strategy as being in the community 131 years to help get the information out. Right, everybody has a different purpose, right, in life, and everybody has a different passion. And I know everybody wants everybody to be both feet in on everybody's issue. It's not going to happen because that's not what God called everybody to do different things, right? But we can still understand each other and we can still help. Like if I could donate something, and I'm here in Atlanta, I'm from Baltimore, but if I could donate something, I would. Or if somebody's listening right now and they want to just to help with the mission, they would. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that. I think as we get the information and education, you are going to be, JC, the guy this is what bothers you at night. This is what makes you can't sleep. This is what you were called to do, right? Yeah. So it isn't lazy. Like people aren't lazy. I think everybody has a different passion, but we as a people don't come together enough on anything. Yes. It ain't just the food desert, right? It's supporting Black business. It's how we spend our billions of dollars. It's how we circulate our dollars. It's how we support our community organizations. We don't even go to PTA meetings. Most of us, you got a couple parents who get involved, but as a whole, it's not just the food desert that we're not coming together. We just and I think a lot of times it's just we've been it's the mindset. Okay, that we have to change our mindset about how we think of ourselves as a community.
Yes, and that's what the guy when I was telling you about Paulo Freire with his book Pedagogy of the Oppressed.
We are kings and queens.
Yes.
And we act like we the gatekeepers all the time. No,
exactly.
We are kings and queens.
Yes.
And when we realize who we are, then we can really do what we need to do. Yeah, I was on the box, y'all. We running out of time. I was just on the box. That's what they call. I was on my platform. I had both feet on the stage. I was just like, look, nobody is deficient. Everybody is called for their purpose. Now, sometimes some Black people need to be shaken just a little bit so they can wake up. then let's shake them a little bit. But I'm off the box. Courtney, you're on the box.
You guys are preaching today. Thank you both for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you on. I just wanted to say that I love what you're doing for the Black community in Baltimore and other cities as well. We have to be the change that we wish to see. So I love that you're taking action and making an impact in society. And I love your passion and drive for it. Like, you genuinely want to do it, and I can see it. So thank you again. And I'm sure that, every community does appreciate this.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Courtney.
And I'm off.
Thank you.
You are now a correspondent for the Chicken Box, Wayman. So you're gonna have to pull that guitar off next time. You play a couple chords. But hey, you're on the box. Thanks as always for just bringing JC, and thank you for everything that you do. You realize the position you're in, and you don't take it lightly, and you make a difference. If everybody made a difference where they are, the difference would be seen. So,
and it's our responsibility, right, to pull people together. If we know people are hungry, if we know people have housing issues or what have you, it's our responsibility as a hospital system, but more importantly, as a people, as Black people, to pull each other together to make things happen. JC, I wanted to just plug Circle of Voices, and it's not planned out. We don't have a date locked down yet, but do you want to talk a little bit about that before we get ready to wrap up?
Yeah, we're on the box now, but I let them talk about. I wanted you to just get on the box, Wayman, and just talk about whatever you need to talk about. Is that what you want to talk about on the box?
I got you. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, I do want to just point out and remind people, and it's Baltimore GBMC/Baltimore City. You can learn more about our programs. We work with Maryland Volunteer Legal Services. So if you're our patient, we will send you and we will pay for legal services to help you stay in your home, get on the deed, or what have you. We will send you to Be More Community Food if you're our patient, to have free produce. If you're our patient, we will also pick you up with Lyft. We partner with Lyft. We'll pick you up from your home, get you to our office, and then back home again, right? If you are not mobile, if you're a senior who's homebound, we have Dr. Tina. Dr. Tina will come to your house to provide all your primary care needs. So all of these are part of our program, and it's a partnership, it's a collective here at GBMC that we've done, and JC is a major part of that. And when I say that they provide food, it's thousands and thousands of pounds of food. So you see the link right there. If you know of anybody that needs support, that needs medical care, that doesn't have primary care, reach out. And then you're going to see Dr. Tina and some of the rest of our doctors and providers over at Our Daily Bread. So come on over, grab a burger, get your hair cut. We'll have a great time. And I'm passing that baton to you, JC. Circle of Voices.
So Circles of Voices was a thing that I did as a diversity consultant in the city. I started it before Freddie Gray got killed, but I basically pulled people from different cultural and ethnic backgrounds into the same room so we could start talking about racism and oppression and misogyny and all the things that we ignore. And it built to where over the course of 5 years, 6,000 people came through those workshops. And it was amazing. I actually started, the base of this came out of the email list that I created when I was doing those workshops. And those were for free also. And so I want to swing to something though real quick. I'm 62 years old, okay? I turned 62 in April. The day that Freddie Gray was killed, I was 54. And I want to tell you, I was not this guy on that day. I was somebody else. Like I was outspoken kind of, but after Freddie Gray got killed, it changed me. It made me want to do something to make a difference for Black people at a level that I had not experienced before in my life. And I've been working on stuff since I was in my 20s. But something about the murder, and I'm going to call it exactly that, the murder of Freddie Gray snapped something in me and made me go, you know what? I need to do everything that I can do to make sure I can't sit back and complain about the way that the world is if I'm not doing everything that I need to do to make it different than what it is. And that this food operation would not be happening had Freddie Gray not been killed. It just wouldn't be, because I would not have had the social insights that I had when I was up there as an activist. I was there every day and doing during the uprising. I was standing in front of the CVS when it was burning, and then I was standing there when they closed when they shut it down, like when the curfew was over. So I was very involved on the ground, and I saw the life of the people there in ways that I had not seen it before. I grew up in the hood in DC, but Baltimore's hood is like a totally different animal. And I watched it and I saw, I was like,
wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It's a different kind of abuse that Black people go through in Baltimore. You know, it's a different kind of, and it doesn't mean that they're not going through abuse in DC too, but in Baltimore, man, it's just really, it's heartbreaking to ride through some of these neighborhoods. North Avenue, you ride down North Avenue up there, Sandtown, these big, huge, beautiful buildings, and they're falling apart, and they've been that way since King was killed. Come on, man, like it's really like it's shameful, you know. And when I saw it, it made me want to do something about it, and I just, you know, it changed me into a totally different person. And that's what motivates me to move forward, is that I can see it's not the people on the ground. It's not them. It's the oppression that's causing them to feel like they can't win in their lives. You know, and if we gave them tiny little things that will help spark them to be something different, I think there would be something different. But if you take everything away from them and then blame them for taking it away from them, something's wrong. And so I'm in a very different place right now. I want to like help my people to see their light. We've always been light people. And that we don't see our light right now. I'm like trying to just get that lantern up in the air. Hey, follow this, you know, like follow the light, man. Cause we are much bigger and better than anybody says we are. Much bigger and better. No other group has survived what we survived. Not one anywhere in the world. The complete dismantling of our culture, and we had to start all over again. We don't even know our languages. We don't know where we came from. We don't even know our own names. I got my plantation owner's last name, and we started from zero, and we're back here, and we're helping rockets go to the moon, and we are, I believe, some of the most amazing human beings ever placed on the planet. That we don't see that. We need to do the work necessary to get around why we don't see ourselves in that way, because that's what we are.
JC.
Yes.
You preaching, boy. You the Moses of the food desert, baby. You the guy. I told you God had to call you. We need a leader. Everybody needs a leader. You the guy. All right. Thank you for stepping up.
Thank you. I'm doing my part, man.
Thank you for stepping up. Dr. Draper, you're on the box. And people of Poppleton, before we go, y'all showing up today. Y'all showing up. Is that Joanne? That's Denisha's mom. Is that you? Cousin? All right. I think it is. She put in there Denisha's mom, so it's gotta be her. Hey, what's up, Joe? Go ahead, Dr. Draper.
So our guests may not know, I retired from pastoring in December. I learned a long time ago, when you hear a good sermon, all you say is amen and then get the plate. So I'm saying amen and get the plate. So appreciate everything. Falk for mayor. That's what I hear.
There you go.
Don't get involved in all that. Just stay in the food area.
Well, listen,
you don't want to get through all of them.
Listen, but he's not just in the food area. The definition of food insecurity, there are people who have food insecurity, don't even know they have food insecurity. They have money to buy, but the only place they have to buy is on the corner with the Popeyes in between the falling down buildings. So yeah, that it's a bigger problem systemically, with food being an important part of it. I'm off the box. Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The oldest Black business in Maryland thanks you for coming through. The Afro. We're here to get the information out, y'all. To be a catalyst so that you can get involved. If you're led to get involved, get involved. Like they say, if you don't feel it, don't do it. Please. We don't want anybody who doesn't feel led to help somebody. You just stay where you are in your own space. But if you're led to help somebody, come on. It's places that need help.
We need to help ourselves.
Absolutely.
We need to help
and like JC said, how it starts is just by the person that you can influence, even if it's one person. But if everybody influenced one person, then man, we'd be almost there, JC. It wouldn't be no more food insecurity. But please go to afro.com and get a subscription if you've never had one. We have digital and digital and physical. It allows us to keep providing this information, to hire fantastic superstars like Courtney to be on our team, to keep the community informed, inspired, and educated. That has been our goal, and that will continue to be our goal. And we're here for the next 131 years. And we're gonna be here right with you, JC. We're gonna schedule a meeting to stay on afterwards. So until next week, I'm going to respect everybody's time. God willing, remember, call a senior. They want to hear from you. Call a senior and say, hey, what's up, y'all? Don't text them, please. Just call them up and say how you doing. And so, they might have a food insecurity. And if they're in Baltimore, now you can go pick up some food. 20 pounds twice a week. That's 40 pounds of food a week. Come on, if you got a car and you know a person who can't get to it, you go pick it up. And bring it to it. Don't take that much time out your day. Just go ahead and do it. Believe me, they need it and you can do it. So let's get it done. Till next week, everybody. God bless. Taryn, I'm going to hit the end button in case